Finding the distance between coordinate points. Consider this problem. If you drove 8 kilometers north and then turned and drove 5 kilometers east, how far are you from your starting point? This is the type of problem that can be solved using the Cartesian plane and plotting points that represent the distances. Before you start this problem, let's review how to find measures on a Cartesian plane between 2 points. Let's work through this example. Sample question number 1. Find the distance between the 2 given points P1 and P2. Remember, the coordinate represents the distance along the x-axis and the y-axis from the origin to the point. For P1, we go over 2, up 3, which would give a coordinate of 2, 3. For point P2, we go over 7 and up 7. The coordinate is then 7, 7. This diagram shows where we go over and where we go up. Now, find the distances along the x-axis and the y-axis from P1 to P2. The distance along the x-axis we'll call the horizontal component. Starting at 2 and ending at 7, the distance would be 7 minus 2, which is equal to 5. Let's verify this by counting the units on your diagram from 2 to 7. Now, let's find the distance along the y-axis, which is the vertical component. Starting at 3 and ending at 7, we would get 7 minus 3, which is 4. Now, we've plotted it on our point. You can see how far we've gone over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've gone up 1, 2, 3, 4. We verify our answers. We now draw the straight line from P1 to P2. Notice that there is a right angle where the x component meets the y component. Since the length of the 2 sides of a right triangle have been determined, we can use the formula called the Pythagorean Theorem to find the diagonal length from P1 to P2. And here would be your formula. The length of diagonal squared is equal to the x component squared plus the y component squared. Write down the given values. The x component is 5 units, the y component is 4 units. From there, substitute the given values into the formula. So the length of the diagonal is 5 squared plus 4 squared. Solve the equation to determine the length of the diagonal. And I'll walk you through this now. The length of the diagonal squared is 5 squared plus 4 squared, which would give us 25 plus 16, which would give us 41. Now, we have 2 ways of writing this answer. One is called the exact form. One is called the approximate form. The exact form would be the square root of 41. The approximate form would be 6.4 found on your calculator. Now, state your conclusion. The distance from point P1 to P2 is the square root of 41 units or 6.4 units. Well done.